the silent language of the night. There exists a realm where logic dissolves and symbols reign supreme, a place each of us visits nightly yet remembers only in fragments. This is a domain where your most profound conversations occur, not with others, but with the deepest strait of your own being. When certain visions appear in this twilight world, they carry weight beyond their strange imagery. They are not mere neural static, but missives from the core of your existence, urgent whispers from the part of you that remembers everything. This phenomenon has haunted humanity since we first dreamed beneath the stars. Ancient shamans crossed the threshold of sleep to retrieve healing wisdom. Egyptian priests cultivated dream incubation temples where seekers would receive divine guidance. Greek oracles interpreted nocturnal visions as prophecies. Today, we may have swapped temple slabs for memory foam, but the essential truth remains unchanged. When particular dreams recur with vivid insistence, they are trying to tell you something. The question is not whether they carry meaning, but whether you're willing to learn their language. The dreams that stir us most share unmistakable qualities. They arrive with a sensory richness that lingers upon waking. The taste of salt water still on your lips from an ocean you've never visited. The ache in muscles you didn't use. The echo of a name spoken in a voice not your own. These are not fantasies your mind concocted to pass the night hours. They are experiences you had in another layer of reality, one where the boundaries of time, space, and identity behave differently. Modern science might dismiss them as random firings of a resting brain, but the oldest wisdom traditions knew better. They understood that during sleep, the conscious mind's grip loosens, allowing more subtle aspects of awareness to surface. In this state, your higher self, that eternal aspect of your consciousness that exists beyond your daily identity, finds its clearest channel of communication. It speaks in metaphors tailored to your soul's journey, using imagery that bypasses your critical faculties to deliver truths your waking self might resist. Consider the last time you woke with your heart pounding, not from a nightmare, but from a dream so significant it left you breathless. Perhaps you were flying over landscapes both alien and familiar. Maybe you held conversations with departed loved ones who offered startling clarity. Or you found yourself in a house with endless rooms, each revealing some forgotten aspect of yourself. These are not random narratives. They are living parables, each element a carefully chosen symbol in a message meant solely for you. The most potent of these nocturnal visions often involve recurring motifs, certain animals, specific locations, or particular scenarios that return with variations over months or years. A black wolf appearing at pivotal moments, a childhood home that transforms into a labyrinth, a voice calling your name from underwater. These persistent symbols are your soul's way of circling back to unfinished business, of insisting you pay attention to something your waking life has overlooked. This exploration will guide you through the hidden architecture of these communications. We'll examine how to distinguish ordinary dreams from sacred messages, decode the symbolic language of your higher self, and integrate these revelations into your daily existence. For the visions that come in the dark are not meant to stay there. They are seeds of awakening waiting to be brought into the light of conscious understanding. The architecture of nighttime revelation. The dream world is not some haphazard theater of the mind. It is a meticulously crafted landscape where every symbol, every shift in scenery, every encounter holds purpose. When your higher self sends a message through this medium, it does so with precision, weaving together universal archetypes and personal mythology into a language that transcends words. To understand these nocturnal dispatches, we must first explore the foundational principles that govern them. The dreamscape as a mirror of the soul. Imagine your consciousness as a vast, many-tiered cathedral. The waking mind occupies the ground floor, bustling with daily concerns and linear thoughts. But descend or ascend into the dreaming state, and you enter the cathedral's hidden chambers, the crypts where old cells are buried, the spires that brush against the infinite. Here, time folds, space contracts, and the boundaries between you and not you dissolve. In this expanded state, your higher self communicates through symbolic reflection, showing you what your waking mind cannot or will not see. A recurring dream of being chased, for instance, is rarely about literal pursuit. It mirrors something within you that remains unresolved, a fear you outrun, a truth you avoid. The pursuer is often an aspect of yourself, a shadow you refuse to face. Similarly, dreams of flying don't merely represent freedom. They reveal your soul's inherent ability to transcend perceived limitations. The imagery is never arbitrary. It is a mirror held up to your deepest state of being. The 3 layers of dream significance. Not all dreams carry equal weight, but the ones that matter, the ones that linger like smoke in your morning mind, operate on 3 interconnected levels. The personal layer speaks to your immediate life circumstances. A dream of failing an exam might reflect anxiety about an upcoming challenge. A flooded house could symbolize emotional overwhelm. These are the most literal interpretations, the surface ripples of deeper waters. The archetypal layer taps into universal human experiences. The hero's journey, the shadow self, the anima/animus. Here, your personal symbols intersect with collective mythology. The wolf at your door is not just a wolf. It is the untamed instinct you've neglected. The endless staircase is a spiritual ascent described in mysticism and folklore worldwide. The soul layer is where the higher self speaks most clearly. These dreams often carry an otherworldly charge, a sense of sacredness that defies easy explanation. You might meet a guide who delivers a single life-altering phrase. Or you could experience your own death, not as terror, but as liberation, revealing your soul's perspective on mortality. These are the dreams that shake you awake, gasping with recognition. The messenger dreams. Among the countless visions of a lifetime, certain dreams stand apart. They arrive with unmistakable urgency, often during periods of transition or crisis. You might dream of a departed loved one delivering a message, their presence so vivid it lingers for days. A future event that later unfolds with eerie precision. A mystical symbol, a key, a lotus, a black sun, that haunts you until you decode its meaning. These are not passive experiences, but active transmissions. The higher self employs them when direct communication is necessary, when your waking life has grown too noisy, too resistant to truth. In indigenous traditions, such dreams are considered so sacred they're shared only with elders or healers, for they contain medicine for both the dreamer and the community. The symbolic lexicon of the subconscious. Your higher self speaks in a dialect of metaphor, borrowing imagery from your personal history, cultural background, and even past lives. A spider might represent creativity to one person and fear to another. A bridge could symbolize transition or a specific relationship that serves as a bridge between worlds. The key is to ask not, what does this mean generally, but why is this appearing to me now? This is why dream dictionaries often fail. True interpretation requires introspection, a willingness to sit with a symbol until it reveals its personal resonance. The images are not static. They evolve as you do. The locked door that terrified you at 20 might, at 40, appear with a key in your hand. The waking dream, there exists a liminal state between sleep and wakefulness. Hypnagogia, where the veil is thinnest. In this twilight, some receive their clearest messages, flashes of insight, downloads of information, even encounters with guiding figures. Artists and inventors have long harnessed this state. Tesla envisioned his inventions here. Dali used it for creative breakthroughs. For the spiritually attuned, it's a direct line to the higher self. This state reminds us that the boundary between dreaming and reality is more porous than we assume. The same intelligence that speaks in symbols at night is always present, always communicating. If we learn to listen, the hidden myths of the dream world. The most profound dreams are not just personal messages. They are fragments of a grander mythos, pieces of an ancient story that has been told in countless ways across cultures and centuries. When your higher self speaks through symbols, it draws from this vast reservoir of collective wisdom, weaving narratives that transcend individual experience to touch upon universal truths. To fully grasp the depth of these communications, we must explore the archetypal stories hidden within them, the timeless dramas that play out in the theater of your subconscious. The dream of the wounded healer. One of the most recurring motifs in spiritual dreams is the encounter with a wounded animal, a limping wolf, a bird with a broken wing, a bleeding stag. At first glance, this seems like a simple image of vulnerability, but its roots run much deeper. In shamanic traditions, the wounded animal is a sacred guide, representing the paradox that one must first be broken to become whole. Consider a dream where you find an injured fox in a moonlit forest. You cradle it, feeling its rapid heartbeat against your palms. As you hold it, the fox transforms, its fur becoming golden, its wounds sealing, until it stands before you not as a victim, but as a radiant teacher. This is the wounded healer archetype in action, showing you that your own scars are not signs of weakness, but initiations into wisdom. The dream is not about the fox. It is about your relationship to your own healing. The endless staircase and the ascent. Dreams of climbing an infinite staircase, a spiral tower, or a mountain that never ends are modern echoes of an ancient narrative, the soul's journey toward enlightenment. In mystical traditions, the staircase appears as Jacob's ladder in the Bible, the spiral paths of Tibetan Buddhist mandalas, or the seven-tiered ziggurats of Mesopotamia. Each step represents a layer of consciousness to be transcended. When you dream of climbing without reaching the top, your higher self is not taunting you. It is reminding you that the ascent itself is a destination. The frustration you feel in the dream mirrors your waking impatience with spiritual progress. But the staircase is also a test. Will you continue climbing even when the summit is out of sight? The moment you accept the journey as the purpose, the dream often shifts, the stairs dissolve, and you find yourself already at the peak. The forgotten room. Many dreamers report discovering a hidden room in their house, a space they never knew existed, filled with strange artifacts, old books, or even waiting people. This is a lost chamber archetype, a metaphor for the untapped potential within your own psyche. In one such dream, a woman finds a dusty library in her basement, its shelves lined with journals written in her own handwriting, but containing stories she doesn't remember living. As she reads, she realizes these are records of past lives, alternate timelines, or futures yet to unfold. The room's sudden appearance coincides with her waking life urge to write a novel, a project she'd abandoned years ago. Here, the higher self is not merely showing her a symbol. It is handing her a key to her own creative prison. The drowned city. Dreams of submerged civilizations, Atlantis, flooded temples, or modern cities sinking into the sea are among the most haunting. They speak to collective memory, to the cyclical nature of history, and to the parts of yourself that have been lost to time. In these dreams, you might swim through cathedral-like ruins, feeling both awe and grief, as if remembering something you once knew but forgot. This imagery mirrors the spiritual concept of the fall, the idea that humanity and the individual soul have forgotten its divine origin. The drowned city is your own submerged wisdom, the knowledge you possess before incarnation. When the dream ends with you finding an artifact, a crystal, a scroll, a golden mask, it's a sign that this wisdom is resurfacing. The higher self is preparing you to reclaim what was lost. The trial by fire. A man dreams he is standing trial in a cavernous courtroom, but the jury is faceless, and the accuser is his own reflection. As the verdict is read, guilty of self-betrayal, The room erupts in flames, yet he remains unharmed. This is a trial archetype, a universal motif representing the soul's reckoning with its choices. In ancient Egyptian tradition, the deceased stood before Osiris to have their heart weighed against the feather of Maat. In your dreams, this trial adapts to your personal dilemmas. The fire is not punishment but alchemy, burning away the false selves you've outgrown. The higher self orchestrates these trials when you're at a crossroads, forcing you to confront what you've been unwilling to face. The silent guide. Some of the most transformative dreams feature a figure who communicates without words, a hooded stranger, a deer with human eyes, or a child who leads you through a labyrinth. These beings radiate quiet authority, and their presence alone carries meaning. In a Navajo teaching, such figures are called Ye, spirit intermediaries who deliver messages through presence rather than speech. When they appear in dreams, your higher self is bypassing the noise of language to transmit knowledge directly to your soul. The guide's silence is intentional. It forces you to rely on intuition rather than logic. Upon waking, you may not recall any dialogue, but you'll feel their message encoded in your bones. The shattered mirror. A woman dreams she smashes a mirror, only for the fragments to hover in midair, each shard reflecting a different version of herself. Younger, older, in different clothes and settings. This is a multiverse self-archetype, a dramatic representation of the soul's simultaneous existence across timelines. Quantum physics suggests all possibilities exist until observed. Your higher self uses this symbol when you're fixated on a single identity. I am only this job, this role, this story. The shattered mirror dream shatters that illusion, revealing the infinite you that coexist. It's both a comfort, you are more than your current struggles, and a challenge, which version will you choose to embody? Bringing the night's wisdom into daylight. Dreams are not meant to remain as fleeting impressions that dissolve with the morning light. The visions your higher self sends are living transmissions, carrying codes that, when deciphered and applied, can reshape your waking reality. But how does one translate the language of symbols into tangible change? The bridge between these worlds is built through deliberate practice, a fusion of ancient intuitive arts and modern psychological insight. The art of dream recall. Before any interpretation can begin, the dream must be captured. Many complain their dreams fade upon waking, but this forgetting is often a habit of inattention rather than inevitability. The mind, trained to prioritize the day's tasks, dismisses the nocturnal journey as irrelevant. To reverse this, cultivate the practice of dream anchoring. Upon waking, resist the urge to move immediately. Lie still in the position you awoke in, eyes closed, and let the dream images float back. The body remembers what the conscious mind forgets, the chill of that dream river, the weight of the unknown object in your hands. Keep a journal, paper, or digital within arm's reach and record everything, no matter how disjointed. Over time, this act signals to your subconscious that its communications are valued, strengthening recall, decoding the personal symbol. A man dreams of a black dog 3 nights in a row. Consulting a dream dictionary, he reads that dog symbolizes loyalty, but this feels hollow. Then he remembers his childhood fear of the neighbor's growling German shepherd, the way he crossed the street to avoid it. Now, in adulthood, he's avoiding a confrontational colleague. The dog isn't a generic symbol. It's a mirror of his own avoidance. This is the essence of personal symbology. To decode it, employ the 3-question method. 1. What does this image evoke in my emotional memory? 2. Where in my current life does this energy manifest? 3. What action does the dream's resolution or lack thereof suggest? Had the man in the dream face the dog instead of running, the message might be to stand his ground. Since he fled, the higher self is spotlighting his pattern of retreat. Dream incubation for guidance. Ancient Greeks visited Asclepian temples to seek healing dreams. Today, you can create your own sacred dream space through intentional incubation. Before sleep, write a question in your journal, clear but open-ended, e.g., what do I most need to understand about my current relationship? Place under your pillow or beside your bed with a pen. As you drift off, visualize the question as a seed sinking into fertile soil. This primes your subconscious to work with the query. Upon waking, record any impressions immediately, even if they seem unrelated. The answer may come as a dream character's offhand remark, an odd object in familiar place, or a sudden knowing upon reviewing your notes days later. The dream council technique. Some dreams feature a gathering of figures, a tribunal, a classroom, a dinner party where all attendees are versions of you. These are glimpses of your inner council, the archetypal forces that shape your decisions. To engage them consciously, recreate the dream scene in meditation. Sit with your journal and invite the members to speak. Ask the critical professor what they're protecting you from. Request the silent child what they need. This dialoguing, though imagined, accesses the same subconscious wisdom that constructed the dream. Over time, you'll recognize these voices in waking life. The inner critic that paralyzes your creativity, the wounded healer that urges self-care, and learn to negotiate with them. When dreams bleed into waking life, a woman dreams of tsunami, then wakes to find her faucet inexplicably left running. Another dreams of a deceased friend handing him a red stone, only to find one on his doorstep days later. These are synchronicities, the dream's energy spilling into physical reality. When this occurs, treat it as a sacred alert. The symbols have moved beyond metaphor into manifestation. Document the details meticulously, the emotions, the timing, any impossible overlaps between dream and waking events. These are direct communications from the higher self, confirming you're on a significant soul trajectory. Carry the symbol, like the red stone, as a talisman, or research its cultural meanings to deepen your understanding. Nightmares as initiation. Not all sacred dreams are comforting. Some, the teeth falling out, the endless fall, the pursuer you can't escape, are initiatory trials. The higher self uses shock to break through denial. For recurring nightmares, employ lucid rescripting. 1. By day, rewrite the nightmare's ending, e.g., you turn to face the pursuer and they transform into a guide. 2. Visualize this new ending before bed. 3. When a nightmare next occurs, you'll often find it shifts toward your rescriptive version. This isn't avoidance. It's active co-creation with your subconscious, demonstrating you're ready to move beyond the fear. Dreams as creative fuel. History's breakthroughs often emerge from dreams. Einstein's theory of relativity, Paul McCartney's Yesterday, the periodic table structure. Your higher self can similarly bypass creative blocks. Keep a dream innovation journal separate from your personal one. Record bizarre images without interpretation. The piano made of glass, the city floating on clouds. Later, use these as prompts. What would a glass piano sound like? How would a floating city function? The nonsensical becomes a portal to original thinking. The shared dream experience. When two people dream of the same unexplainable scenario, a place neither is visited but both recall in detail, it hints at the collective dream space, a layer of consciousness where minds interact beyond physical limits. While rare, these experiences suggest our dreaming selves are not isolated. If this occurs, compare notes with the other dreamer immediately. Look for shared symbols, emotional tones, or downloads of information that complement each other. Such episodes often precede or follow major life events for both parties, marking a soul-level connection. The awakened dreamer. We have journeyed to the veiled landscapes where your higher self speaks in symbols, unravel the archetypal narratives woven into your dreams, and explored practical rituals to bridge these nocturnal visions into waking life. Now, we arrive at the heart of the matter, the realization that these dreams are not merely messages to be decoded, but invitations to step into a grander version of yourself. The dreamer and the dreamed. There's a moment in every seeker's journey when the boundary between dreamer and dream begins to dissolve. You are not simply the passive recipient of these visions. You are the architect of them, the consciousness that both creates and interprets the symbols. The higher self is not some distant entity sending dispatches from afar. It is you, unfiltered by the constraints of waking identity. When you dream of flying, you're not just imagining flight. You are remembering your innate freedom. When you dream of lost rooms, you're not just fantasizing about hidden spaces. You are rediscovering the chambers of your own potential. This is a great revelation. Your dreams are rehearsals for awakening. The scenarios that play out in the theater of your subconscious are not random. They are carefully orchestrated lessons, preparing you for the moments in waking life when you will need to face the shadow, reclaim your power, or leap into the unknown. The nightmares are initiations. The lucid dreams are masterclasses. The recurring symbols are signposts on a map only your soul can fully read. The call to active dreaming. To truly integrate this wisdom, you must shift from being an observer of dreams to an active participant in the dialogue. This requires two commitments. First, treat your dreams as sacred texts. Just as a monk pores over scripture, approach your dream journal with reverence. The images are not random. They are fragments of a living mythology tailored to your soul's evolution. When a symbol repeats, ask not just what it means, but why it has returned now. What is it asking you to confront, to release, or to embrace? Second, carry the dream's energy into daylight. If you dream of a locked door, spend the following days noticing where you feel blocked in your life. If you dream of a radiant guide, meditate on their presence and ask for their wisdom and stillness. Dreams are not confined to sleep. They are seeds meant to take root in your waking world. The ultimate dream, waking life itself. As you deepen this practice, a subtle but profound shift occurs. You begin to notice that waking reality carries the same symbolic weight as your dreams. A chance encounter with a hawk after dreaming of flight, a sudden downpour on the day you dreamed of floods. These synchronicities reveal that the boundary between dream and reality is far thinner than you've been taught. This is a secret the mystics knew. Life itself is a dream. The higher self is not only speaking to you at night, it is whispering through every moment, every coincidence, every inexplicable pull toward or away from people and places. The more you honor your dreams, the more the waking world begins to mirror their magic, the invitation. And so, we arrive at the transformational call, not to simply interpret your dreams, but to live them. Tonight, before you sleep, place your hands over your heart and speak this vow aloud. I am ready to listen. I am ready to remember. I am ready to meet myself beyond the veil. Then close your eyes and let the journey continue. The dreams will come, and this time, you'll be awake enough to answer.